Navigating Now. This is episode 282. I'm your host for today, Nicole Deal, for one of my favorite series on this podcast. It's part of our Meet the Team. And today we are going to be introducing Carolyn McChesney, a new senior director here at Thoughtium. Welcome to the table.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What's one word for how you're feeling?
I'm excited to be here.
Great.
I know that's kind of like not the most original word,
But it's
I'm excited
genuine?
about it. It's genuine. Yeah.
We'll take it. We take the genuine answers here. So wonderful.
Good.
Carolyn, so what's going to be, I think, interesting about our conversation today is there's a lot of, I'll say, similarities between what gives us energy, the type of work that we love to do, but we're not going to jump there right away.
Okay.
Let's start with what you went to school for. Were you always in Chicago? Where does that kind of begin?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I grew up outside of Chicago in the suburbs, but I went to school in central New York at Syracuse to study journalism, actually.
Mhm.
So I'd always loved in high school writing features reports. I love people, like learning their stories and sharing their stories. So I thought I would go into journalism or documentary filmmaking to tell people stories. Yeah.
And then it took you, the path kind of, not veered, but we went a different way. Tell me about the geography came into your life.
Yeah. I took that as like a one-off, an elective. You have to fill a credit.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a class on human geography, which I did not even know was a thing.
Yeah. How would you define that?
It's like a really great mix between sociology and anthropology and political science, kind of all mashed up together and then anchored in like place for geography.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just loved learning about like race and space and resources and mapping that all together. I thought was really interesting. So picked up a major in that while I was there too.
Very cool. We kind of talked about this. It like takes me to the National Geographic.
Mm-hmm.
That would be, if you had a magic wand, is that what you'd probably aspired for?
That's where I thought I was headed. I thought, I'll be a National Geographic documentarian, telling stories, traveling the world. Yeah, at 22, that sounded ideal.
Have you been to Africa?
I have.
You have? Okay, because I had a moment of like, I can envision you in like a safari. You've done that?
I've done that in Kenya.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, super lucky.
Did you see the big five?
The big,
I think it's the five, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Giraffe.
Okay.
Right? Is this where you're going with this?
Yes, but I don't know if giraffe's in it, but I trust your judgment.
Elephant.
Yes.
What else would
I think a lion?
Lion we saw.
Actually, don't know what the other ones are.
Zebra everywhere.
Sure.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience.
Wow. Yeah. And it's hard to get to.
Mm-hmm.
And how long were you there for? Was it like enough time
to
really?
Weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can't just go for a quick weekend trip to Kenya.
No, would not recommend. Would recommend spending a good amount of time there.
Fair enough. So you've also done other travels.
Mm-hmm.
I think India has importance to you as well.
It does. Yeah, I've traveled. I'd always wanted to go there. My grandma had been a bunch. It was a trip that we were going to take together, but we never got the opportunity to do that before she passed away. So that was like my big solo adventure that I was like, I'm going to go someday. And I went on my own and absolutely loved it. And, explored parts of the region I didn't plan on exploring. But it was really nice because when I met my husband, his family happened to be from one of the regions that I just sporadically like tacked on to my list. So it was really nice to meet his family and say, I've been there.
That gives me chills. It's like you kind of stumbled upon, but there was a bigger plan for it. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, did you meet your husband? He's from Chicago?
Yep.
So not at Syracuse?
Not at Syracuse.
Okay, you met him here?
Yep, we met here through we were set up on a blind date.
Huh.
Yeah, like an old
You don't
school
hear about
blind
those
date.
too much anymore.
Yeah, we were set up on a blind date by a shared colleague. So we worked at competing executive search firms way back when in the same building, but had never crossed paths. And she was my colleague at the time. She had worked with him and become friends, and she set us up.
They say that's like the best way to find someone because the person that like knows both of you just sees how those strengths, qualities can just really complement or supplement someone.
Totally. Plus she was a recruiter. So she's like good at assessing personalities,
anyway.
Good at making sure that we actually went on a first date, like a little pushy. Yeah, it was perfect.
That makes sense. So where did he fall into the timeline of like journalism, geography?
Not until after I'd come back to Chicago. So after school, I did Teach for America. So I was a teacher, an 8th grade middle school teacher in Atlanta.
Okay.
Moved there, had never visited, like sight unseen, moved there a couple weeks after graduation. Incredible formative experience. I'm still in touch with a handful of my students who are now in their 20s, late 20s.
How old were they when you, not to
No, you
We
can
don't
do
need
the
to do
math.
the
It's
math.
okay. You can
Okay.
do the math.
Great.
They were like 11 to 13.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must be because they're in now an even more formative time. Like your 20s is a defining decade.
And they're older now than I was when I was teaching them,
Whoa.
which blows their minds. Yeah.
Does it blow your mind?
Totally.
Did they look older than how you felt you looked at the time of teaching?
A little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
That's really
yeah,
cool.
I'm still in touch with a handful of them, which is really special. But yeah, so I did that, and then I knew I didn't want to continue teaching, but like this people theme kept coming up for
Yeah.
me, right? Journalism, and then like being in a room with kids and figuring out what motivates them and how they learn.
Mhm.
But then I moved back home and I was a recruiter, and then I moved into the leadership development space after that.
And here we are.
And here we are.
She has arrived. What would you say from your time with Teach for America, like the overlap between that and leadership development? What did you maybe take with you?
Yeah.
And what are we maybe getting wrong
Mm.
based on what you learned in that time frame?
That's a great question. What did I take with me? I had a mentor in my first leadership development job who really like said, you should come and do this work because you've designed curricula before. And if you can engage a classroom of 30 preteens, you can probably keep a group of adults engaged.
Yeah.
And you get the same personalities. And so like, that's something that I've always anchored to is like, okay, there's going to be a class clown. How do I provide space for them to bring some energy into the room? Or there's going to be someone who doesn't want to be there today or is a skeptic. Like, how do we bring them into the conversation really intentionally? And so designing for those moments and facilitating for those moments, I think pulling that through from my time in Atlanta to today, like that has remained very steady and very constant. What was the second part of your question?
What was the second part of my question? If we're getting anything wrong in like the development space based on what you learned in that experience.
I don't think it's wrong, but I think we could dial up, and I actually think Thoughtium does a good job of this, but like in general, I think we could dial up the fun and the creativity and like moments for play.
Yes.
The world is so serious right now. Like business is serious. The world is serious. Where can we have a little fun and not take ourselves so seriously? Like there needs to be humor and play and fun for adults too.
And there's so much research that shows like when you play is just the best form of learning.
Yeah.
And that we shouldn't lose sight of that even as adults.
Yeah.
Even if it's a little uncomfortable and we feel like we're not supposed to be that way, it's like ingrained in us to learn and just be in more of a low stakes environment.
Totally.
Yeah. I might want to go down that path a little bit more, but I'm curious with, again, the distinction between students when you were in Teach for America versus like students as leaders now.
Sure.
I feel like leaders now at like a older age have ideally more self-awareness of if they are the skeptic and how that might impact the way they show up. How do you because I'm assuming the students don't have that insight about themselves, like how do you navigate that?
Yeah. I think one of my favorite things to do with a new set of leaders maybe I'm working with is kind of suss out where are they in terms of self-awareness, right? So I know one thing that we do here is start with an assessment perhaps, right? To like really understand who they are and does their perception of themselves match up with how others perceive them?
Yeah.
So any opportunity to start like a leadership development or learning program with some reflection and discussion around who are you? How do others perceive you? How do you want to be perceived?
Yes.
It's like a really nice baseline, and then you can design the journey or facilitate the conversation to go where it needs to go for that group. To your point, yes, I think most adults are more self-aware, so you're starting from a different place.
Yeah.
But I think back to some of the exercises we did this week at our team on-site.
Yeah.
Like, I've done some of those exercises before. I still learned something new about myself.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's always still like newness about yourself that can be unpacked, even with the same question.
Yeah.
Because new situations, new context kind of just comes forward. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Let me think about where I want to go next, because I think this piece around unpacking like leadership, like limiting beliefs is very interesting.
Yeah.
And how we use other people's perception to just be another data point. What would you tell like a company who doesn't want to put the money into like a 360? That's where my mind goes, is like something that can be very, quantitatively backed and just a little bit more structured. What about the companies who don't want to do it?
I mean, there's two ways that you can go, right? One is to try to help them see the light and why that's a worthwhile investment.
Yeah.
an investment in an assessment that somebody is going to have and be able to hold on to and refer back to, right? If they receive proper coaching around that and if they're dedicated to it, it's a one-time investment that has a much longer term impact for them. So of course I'm biased. I'm a big fan of assessments, love a good 360. If that's just like not in the budget, which is the reality for some folks, right? Then what does it look like to take a more informal approach there, right? So whether it's interviews, not using an assessment tool, but doing some interviews, or just even the lightest touch would be asking the folks participating in the program, what's feedback you've received over the last 5 years? How has the type of feedback you've received changed over the last 5 years? Because now we're starting to understand their leadership journey and who they are in the words that others have shared with them.
I love that. It has me thinking about some development programs we're doing right now. And we use the assessment leadership circle profile. So it's a little bit more like situational, where if you take it today and then you take it 5 years from now, ideally your scores start to shift because the way you're behaving is ideally more effective as a leader because of this new awareness and like noticing like what's a reactive tendency that you have in face of stress or threat. So the more you're aware of that, the more you can choose, I'm not going to operate in that way. Cool. And I bring this up because in our first coaching session with these leaders to go through their results, we often invite their manager in for just a little bit of it, where the manager is going to provide what are some of like the strengths, growth areas that you see in this person. And what's so interesting is that these two people have had performance conversations before, and there is some like, you know, redundancy of what they share, but there's also like new insights and just, I love to ask the question, like if you had a magic wand, what would be different about this person that you think would support themselves and the team? And it's just a really cool dynamic to have. I think that's still a formal discussion, but it's not like a full 360. It's more of just a conversation.
What I love about that approach is you're accomplishing the same thing, right, in a different way by just creating the space for that conversation to happen. And I think a lot of leaders think, I'm giving feedback or I'm developing people on my team, but it's often kind of drive by, pass by, like, hey, great job on that. It's not about who you are as a person, who you are as a leader, and just like having a dedicated 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes to talk about that can be so impactful for the person on the receiving end. And it's also just a great practice for the leader as well to get comfortable having those conversations.
Right. And then they can mirror that and do the same thing with people below them.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. If you haven't figured it out yet, yes, me and Carolyn are certified coaches. So this is just a conversation that brings us energy naturally. Curious, where did like the coaching journey start for you? Was it like you received coaching, you're like, I want to do more of this? Or man, if only I had a coach, I could see what it could have gotten me.
I think in retrospect, if I had had a coach earlier, I think that would have accelerated learning for me. It actually started with some mentors who were coaches who said, hey, I think you might be interested in this, because I was doing a lot of formal and informal mentorship. I had been a teacher, right? I think I have received feedback that I'm a good listener. And so it was really a few people that I really trust who over the course of a few years had said, have you thought about coaching? Have you thought about coaching? And it's like I heard that message a few times and thought maybe I should pay attention to it. And then I had the experience of having a coach, of having an executive coach, and that just like blew the world wide open for me on what was possible. And it's going back to what I said before, like an opportunity to connect and learn people's stories and what drives them and where they're getting stuck. And help them do something that maybe they didn't even think they could possibly do. Like, there's nothing more fulfilling to me than that.
I love that. Okay. Another question for you. I'm going to call it like the Magna Carta, the Holy Grail, your guiding principle for all coaches out there. What is it?
Don't assume that you've seen this movie before.
I
think especially in leadership coaching, executive coaching, we can feel like, oh, I know this person. I know this type. I know this industry. I look at their assessment, right? It's so easy to fall into that bias trap. Don't assume you've seen the movie before. Like treat it like it's the first time. Come in with curiosity. And it's, coaching 101, like, you know this. Just listen, ask really powerful questions and really listen to deeply understand the person. It sounds basic, but I think it can be a trap once you've you've gotten enough reps in.
Right. And I think another point with that is sometimes when we see something in someone that like resonates with us and that we would see in ourselves, we think we're doing them like justice by making that connection. Like, oh, I can like feel your pain. I've been there, but then we're out of the coaching mode.
Totally.
Now we're bringing in our own judgment, our own frame of reference that might not support them.
Nope. It's not about us.
It's not about us unless we're mentoring, which should be a whole nother topic,
Right.
because there's a lot of obviously skills that, overlap between coaching and mentoring. And sometimes you wear the mentor hat and coach hat in the same 60-minute conversation. But I think it's so important for people to recognize like coaching there's a skill set involved. And if you're formally coaching someone, that can look very different than just being a people leader or just having like a status update.
Yeah. Well, and I think I like the idea of the different hats because we're in interesting roles here being consultants and coaches.
Yeah.
Right. So what I find is sometimes I will take more of a coaching approach to some of my consulting conversations, but we're hired as consultants for expertise, for guidance.
Yeah.
But it can be fun. I mean, with some clients, I will say, okay, as a coach, let's have this conversation. Then I'm going to take off my hat. And as a consultant, like if we need to fill in the gaps together, we can do that. So there's a power in switching between, but I think we have to be responsible about letting folks know which hat we're wearing.
You got to name it. We should actually get real hats because you were just doing the same thing. Like I will in a call, I'll like put on a metaphorical hat and take one off. We should probably get coach hat, consultant hats. We'd be wearing a lot of hats around here, but don't we already? They're just invisible sometimes. I love it. Okay. What else? So you have a husband. There's others in the household.
There are others in the household. So I have my husband, we have a 9-month-old son, and then we have a 6-year-old mini Bernedoodle.
Oh my gosh. What's the Bernedoodle's name?
Her name's Adler. She's named after the Adler Planetarium here.
Of course she is.
Adler the space pup is her.
Oh my
name.
gosh. Has she ever dressed up as like an astronaut for Halloween?
We haven't. There's no way she would allow that to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll just imagine it because that looks very cute on a Bernedoodle.
But she has space themed accessories.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. What would that look like?
Like her collar. Her bed. Yeah.
Cute. Oh my gosh. Okay. So a 9-month-old, what has that like taught you about leadership or how is like, I guess maybe your leadership expanded?
Yeah.
And what it's taught you.
Yeah. I mean, it's changed me as an entire person. But I think it's about like, now you are responsible for leading this little life.
Yeah.
Right. Which is really cool and is an immense responsibility. But I think it's, one of the things that lights me up about coaching, like I said, is like when people have those light up like moments of, oh, I got it, or there's a breakthrough, like, aha.
Yeah.
And with him, I'm not coaching him, right? He's figuring out the world on his own.
Yeah.
But seeing those aha moments.
Yeah.
And it's daily, from discovering his hand one day to like suddenly taking an interest in the dog and learning to roll over and do all the things. It's just such a good reminder of like, if we're open to learning, there is so much to learn.
Yeah.
And like, there's no one more open to learning than a child.
So right. And it takes me back to what you shared about don't assume you've seen the movie. Children are the best example of that, and they're just such a good reminder of what it means to have like a beginner's mind or a child's lens literally through the world and just curiosity, play, creativity.
It's all the good stuff.
All the good stuff.
I'd also say in terms of my leadership, he has made me much more decisive and like sure in the stances that I'm taking. And I think part of that is a bit of a survival mechanism.
Out of necessity.
Like, you don't have a lot of time and extra energy to think about things. And like you kind of just have to really trust your gut and move forward with it, where otherwise naturally I'm very analytical. I love to look at it from all angles. I like to make sure I have the full picture before I move forward. And there's just not enough time in the day to do that. But it's been really refreshing to just like trust my gut and make decisions for him. And part of it's out of necessity, but I'm hoping that continues on for me.
Man, let's have another conversation about that because I don't have a child. I have a 4-legged child,
You have an adorable 4-legged child.
But I would love to have like that mindset shift of just needing to be more decisive because sometimes at a fault, like I'm just too open and too curious. It's like, but do I really have to make a choice?
I'm happy to be influenced. And now it's like, we don't always have time for that. Got to move forward.
Got to move forward. What else kind of brings you energy, especially maybe in the work that you've started to get into at Thoughtium?
Yeah. I love designing meaningful experiences, and I love facilitating. So my first time back, in a room with the C-suite facilitating, just like traveling again for work, all of that lit me up again. And it had been a while since I'd done that. And so again, it goes back to that point of like when you start to see a team come together and things click and like there's clarity in the room and there's energy, and knowing that we created the container for that to happen is wonderful. And it's their success. Like that makes me super excited when you see people achieving, accomplishing, thinking in new ways, and it's theirs to own. We had something to do with it, but like this is their show. It's their time to shine. Being able to experience that again has just been like really re-energizing.
And it's cool to see it when it compounds into multiple people at once. It's like one thing to have an aha moment in like a one-on-one session, but then you see the whole room. It's just that energy. It's so special. Okay, when was the last time, let's say, you played? For example, I just recently started taking lessons to learn the piano.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I never got into instruments. My parents were like, sports. I'm like, yes. I never thought twice. I'm like, you know what? I could try the piano. So I've been getting into that, been playful.
I love that. I'm trying to think when the last time I played for myself, right? Not with like a child's toy, with my son. I think the last time I played was probably, I've shared this with you, like I picked up knitting.
Yes.
And so I don't know if that's play, but it was like, I want to do something with my hands. I want to think, but not have to like really, really think at the end of the day. But I want to try creating something. I previously had this idea about myself that like, oh, I'm not super creative because I have some really creative people in my family. So like compared to them, I never felt super creative. And I'm like, being creative is just the process of creating something. And so knitting and creating something with my hands, and making mistakes and being okay with that, like has been such a healthy, cathartic experience. It's not running around and playing, but it like totally fits into where I am in life right now.
Very cool.
It's been really fun.
What are you knitting right now?
I'm working on a baby blanket that was supposed to be for my son when he was born. So we're just, maybe a one-year-old's gift. It'll be a first birthday gift.
Christmas here or there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Is there anything like in the leadership development space, coaching space, that's just like top of mind that if you didn't share it right now, you'd lose sleep over?
I've been thinking a lot about like, what do people need right now, right? I think people need connection and each other. And I just think that's such like a human basic need. And I know we talk about that a lot here, but sometimes it's easy to be in our own bubble and like forget that there's the rest of the world that
isn't doing that.
Yeah. And so how do we create connection and community? And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be a small thing. And so one thing I've been thinking about personally in my own leadership, but that I think is really applicable to other folks, is like, what are the moments to just say yes? To just step into it, not to overanalyze it, and think about like, yes, this is an opportunity for me to build connection. This is an opportunity for me to build community and see where it goes. We're just also like isolated and, working from home is wonderful. I love doing it occasionally, but like we aren't interacting with people in the way that we should be. And I know you're a big community builder too.
I mean, community and connection just, that resonates with me. And you hear a lot people saying we're the most connected we've ever been, yet the most disconnected we've ever been. And I just think it's so interesting how both can be true. And it's all coming back to like the same word of connection.
And for leaders, that's part of the job, right? I think it can be easy to think like I've got to hit, these metrics and these KPIs and all of that is important, of course. And part of your job as a leader is building connection and is forming a team and is enabling talent, right? It's a really difficult job, but that is part of the job description, whether or not it shows up on the JD.
So shout out to our HR professionals. Let's throw it on the job description,
there we go.
Right?
There we go.
It might not, it's the intangibles that are also so important. Sustaining your talent, the company, it's a necessity.
Totally.
I love that share. Okay, let's see. Do we go to the lightning round?
Sure.
Okay. So my first question for you is, what are you reading, watching, or listening to?
Listening to Good Hang with
So
Amy
good.
Poehler. Okay, do you listen?
Oh my gosh. I'm only like a few in. I've listened to Paul Rudd, Tina Fey, of course.
Yeah.
Billie Eilish was good.
Hers was great.
And I think there was a fourth, but it's escaping me. Who have you listened to?
Yeah, I've listened to all those as well. She just had Nick Offerman on, so if you're a Parks and Rec fan, it's great. Coleman Domingo is the one I'm listening to right now, and I just love. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
She gets kind of deep, but then like brings you back up. Of course, it's jovial and it's fun, and I just it's my favorite thing to listen to on my commute right now.
It's so good. It's a morning podcast routine that I'm starting to get into myself.
Nice.
Yeah, so good. Okay, next question. You are on an island.
Okay.
You can have 3 things with you.
Okay.
It can't be tech.
Okay.
It can't be family or just people.
Okay.
What are they? Let's just assume you have food.
You have food, you
Yeah.
have water.
You have the
You can
essentials.
survive.
Yeah.
But what are the things that you bring with you to like
How are you thriving on this island alone?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I'm definitely passing time. I'm like probably not building a ship to get off the island. I think I've just committed to like being there. Okay.
Yeah.
Good
questions. Good questions.
I would probably bring my hobby. I would probably bring something to knit.
Uh-huh.
I would bring a book. Oh, what book would I bring if I had to reread it over and over? I might bring a Mindy Kaling book. There's a theme here. I love comedy and I love female comedians. Any of Mindy Kaling's books I can read over and over and just like
she has
laugh out
multiple.
loud. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, highly recommend. I would bring that, and then what else would I bring? You said no people. Can I bring my dog?
If I didn't say no pets, I will allow it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Adler's
sneak that in
there.
there. Adler's coming. I need some company.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Oh, so good. Okay. My last question for you that we like to round out our episodes with. I want you to think of a quality about yourself that you admire. Don't say it out loud yet, but tell me when you're ready and you have it.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to say a sentence and then you're just going to fill in the blank at the end.
Okay.
Okay. If the world were more like Carolyn, it would be
More understanding.
Ooh, yes. Just going to let that sit. Sometimes I don't like to ask why and whatnot. Just like let it sit,
I'm good with that.
Tremendous. Well, this is our Meet the Team series. Thank you so much for joining us today. I already am like thinking about all the follow-on conversations that you and I need to have.
Perfect.
One-on-one. So thank you for that. We have homework coming off of this. But group, thank you for listening in. This was, again, Carolyn McChesney, one of our senior directors here at Thoughtium. You can catch us every Thursday at thoughtium.com/live at 3 p.m. Central. We look forward to seeing you all next week. Thanks so much.